All right, are we on? Awesome. Welcome to our weekly growth meetup here on Done by Lunch Entrepreneurs. Today, talking about three things that I wish I did sooner in my business, including something I wish I'd started paying for sooner. I was real frugal at the very beginning. Something that I wish I'd tracked sooner, and something that I wish I added sooner as well. One of those things where, in hindsight, it's like, oh, why didn't I do that? So we'll talk about all of these right now. So if you are new, this is Done by Lunch Entrepreneurs, where we help you run your business in half the time so you can move on to other things that give you purpose and joy. And we do that by helping you build a business with high leverage assets, things where the return on your time is really, really high, like YouTube channels, podcasts, courses, memberships, different things around that. All right. You are welcome to ask questions while we're here. Absolutely love to see those. Actually, I don't have the comments open. Let me see if I can find that window really quick here while I am talking as well. So, yes, here we go. Awesome. Hello, Eric. Wanted to be here for this chat. Hoping you're having a great day. Wishing you great success. Thank you so much, Eric. That is unbelievably tiny. Let's see if we can make that a little bit bigger for our broadcast today. So awesome. So yeah, say hi in the chat. If you have questions as we go, totally fine for that. And if you have questions that aren't related to what we're talking about today, I'm totally open to answering those for you as well. That's what this is. This is a Q&A that we do once a week to get everybody as much help as we can. By the way, the hearts on the wall behind me, we opened our new YouTube Entrepreneur System course and program this week. And so my wife, Candy, decided to make Valentine's, because today's Valentine's Day, for people as they join. So those are the names of the people that have been signing up. We have some more that aren't on there yet, but that's what all of those are. All right, so let's jump into this. Three things I wish I did sooner in my business. And the first one is paid to hire a virtual assistant. Now, I will tell you, when I started things, I had this mindset. I've never been one of those people. It's like, you got to spend money to make money. Still not one of those people, especially because now we have so many online opportunities to make money using free tools, right? That being said, I'm all about investing in the right things. But when I first started, I was very frugal and I wasn't really making much. And so I didn't really feel like I could reinvest anything. And I was like, why would I hire a VA when I could just do it myself, right? That's really, really easy to say. And so what happened though, as we were going along with it, was I slowly but surely realized there were things that, one, I wasn't enjoying doing to start, right? There were things that somebody else could easily do. And one of the big breakthroughs that I had was from the book Who Not How by Dan Sullivan and Dr. Benjamin Hardy. They have two other books I love. That one I couldn't really get into, but one of the things they said is, the stuff you hate doing, somebody else loves doing that stuff. So pay them to do it. And so I do feel like I hired a VA before I was ready or could afford to pay a VA, but it was completely worth it in every way. And I didn't realize it until I started. And I think part of my block in the beginning was picturing like, well, if I'm going to pay him this much money times 40 hours a week, it's going to be so much. But having somebody, my VA still works about 4 hours a week because I try and keep things lean in my business anyway. I think she's compensated well, but it's about 4 hours a week. And that's it. And she does so much. And there's a few parts of this too that are really, really effective. One, she frees up my time, obviously, but she actually frees up my emotion as well. When things come into the inbox that add stress, when comments get left, maybe a not nice comment on YouTube, she sees that stuff before I do most of the time. And so it freed up a lot of mental space and emotion around that because it didn't affect me quite as much. Early on in entrepreneurship, everything feels like it's the end sometimes when something negative happens. And you can actually take time off. If you have somebody that at least handles your customer service, then when you travel or just go on vacation at home, you can actually take time off. So that is a really, really powerful way to think about this. I didn't feel like I could afford them, but I thought, okay, I can afford 3 to 4 hours a week, I guess. Let's start with that and see where it goes. Totally, totally worth it. So that was the number one thing I wish I did sooner, was paid for a VA to start freeing up some of the time and the mental capacity and the emotion around the business. Number two thing I wish I'd started doing sooner, and I honestly didn't start doing this until last year, is tracking my numbers. So I think for me, I was just talking about how in the very beginning, it was very much it was very emotional becoming an entrepreneur. It wasn't anything that was ever like in my plans. And so in the beginning, everything felt very heavy and emotional and, when bad things happen. And so I think not tracking my numbers was sort of my way of like avoiding that, like, what happened here? Or why isn't this working? Or, oh no, the numbers are down or whatever it might be. And I'm kind of glad that I shielded myself from that in the beginning because I don't think I was ready to handle it. But that being said, it's so important that we know our numbers. You decide what's important to you to track, right? Don't track everything. There's way too much, but know at least kind of, how much money's coming in, how much you're spending. If you're focusing on a certain platform, then, like if it's YouTube, how many views are you getting this month compared to last month? And if you see it that way, if you see something trending down, it's like, let me look at this and let me see how I can maybe change this up a bit. And so the reason that I made this switch finally last year, despite being in masterminds with people that are like, what, how do you not track your numbers? Was I finally had a guy, a guy that I worked with, and he was coaching me, and he just said the most basic thing. He said, you can't go in and look at your numbers with the idea of let's see what's good and what's bad. You just go in and you look at everything. And if it's good or it's bad, I mean, some things are good and some things are bad, but it's all just interesting, right? It's like, can't believe there's less money. It's like, interesting. Income was down a little bit. I'll watch that next month and see if it continues. Or I might look into why that might have happened. Or, I know why that happened because I didn't make as many offers or whatever it might be. So that was kind of the big shift for me is like when you look at something, and this is true, if you're looking at your YouTube analytics, your insights on Instagram, your revenue, your member retention, if you have a membership, anything like that, you just look and you go, it's interesting. And then think about how you can use that information instead of thinking about it as it is good or it's bad, which is an emotional, dangerous way to kind of look at all that, okay? And then the third thing that I wish I did sooner in my business, and those first two I think really apply to all of us. Anyone who is an online entrepreneur is absolutely one that is applying to or should apply to. But the third one was all, this one's more specific to some businesses, but looking back, I wish that I had added affiliate promotions to my business. And I had a couple of blocks there in the beginning. So and for anyone who's not familiar with affiliate marketing, I think it's pretty common now, but no worries if you're not. Basically, you promote other people's stuff and then you get a percentage of any sales that come through your referral link. I had two blocks in the beginning. One was, I'm just starting on YouTube. I barely have any views anyway, so it doesn't matter. But you never know on YouTube which videos are going to take off, right? And you can't go back and change a video on YouTube. Like you can't go back and add a section to it. You can update the description, but that only has so much impact. So I wish early on I had started maybe promoting other products in some of my YouTube videos, because when they do take off and all of a sudden something gets 1,000 views, 10,000 views, 50,000 views, it could be a really great beneficial thing for both you and of course, whoever you're partnering with as an affiliate. But the other part of it was in the beginning, and I think this is valid, but in the beginning, I was very much looking at it as, why would I promote somebody else's products instead of my own products, right? Because obviously the profit on our own products is generally going to be higher than anything else, right? Because we get to keep all of it, minus whatever expenses there might be. But I heard a guy talking about how we can't solve all the problems of our audience, right? We are going to focus on what we do, but they need other things. And so recommending things to them is helpful. It's a service, So if somebody wants to know, oh my God, there's so many microphones. Which microphone should I get? Or I need a social media scheduling tool. What do you like? And you can actually recommend something to them from somebody else. It's helpful. It's a service. It's not taking away from your own stuff when you do that. And it is, again, beneficial. And usually people are grateful to have a strong recommendation, even if they don't end up going with that. Now, it is important, of course, to recommend the stuff that you truly believe in, be able to speak to it. So that's why if I make a YouTube video about microphones, for example, I will talk about the different ones that I looked at and tested and, why I ended up going up with the one that I ended up going with. Okay. So those are the three things that I wish I did sooner in my business. If you came in late, paid to hire a VA, Again, it doesn't have to be 40 hours a week, doesn't have to be 10 hours a week. It can be a few hours a week to start, just to get some stuff off your plate and free up some of your mental capacity as an entrepreneur. Number two, tracking my numbers. I didn't track my numbers in the beginning, I think, to protect myself. I had an idea how things were going. I certainly looked at the bank account, but it's so important to do that. And then the third thing was added affiliate promotions to all of the things that I do. So if you have questions about any of that, definitely let me know. Let's see. Ed said that Buy Back Your Time, from Dan Martell, is a great book. That's absolutely a great book. I read it. I wasn't ready for it, and then I went back and I got it again after I was asking in my mastermind about this, and somebody had said, "Oh, you got to read Buy Back Your Time." I'm like, I already did. So the second time was the time that that really clicked for me. So that and Who Not How were the two that really tied in well for outsourcing. All right. So that is our growth meetup for this week. Thank you all for being here. If you're watching on replay, let us know. Drop a comment. Glad you were here for that as well. And we will see you next time.